Alright, I've had such a really terrible time with my patience and my acceptance in trying to make this holy and reverent moment happen today, because the machines have been running all day. You can hear them in the distance. They just continually run. But I thought I would try to catch some of this incredible sky, milky, changing cloud concoctions, because the purples and blues of it are truly hypnotic, and hopefully so much so that it doesn't bother you that there's a cacophony of sounds. Which I'm going to insist that my mother not do anything about. Right, Mother? Please, let me have at least my holy moment. Minus this. Okay, I am already. I'm telling you guys that my brain has made a brew, the complete opposite of the brew I was hoping to give to you, because it's a reverent day, it's a beautiful day. So I'm trying to reclaim it. I don't know. I want Ostara, celebration, Easter. I wanted to bring you something light, just like the other day when I was fighting for the light and for the just hum of the birds for a single moment. And it's really difficult to get it. It's really difficult to get a reverent moment with the universe. So let's see our little scene that we've been setting up since, 2 o'clock. It's now 7:30, and I have not been able to find a single soft, quiet moment to bring you this beauty and this bounty that I'm attempting to deliver. And I really have been in a bit of a frantic state in that waiting, in that anticipating. Just a teeny tiny holy moment. We talked about the holy moment the other day. Right. So, here we are in a self-made little circle. I'm going to have to be much closer to you is the problem. We're far too far away from each other. I guess I wanted you to have a bit of the sky, because the sky seems like one of the only delicate things that we have going for us right now. But it's okay. We're going to come in closer, because really what I want to bring you is my storytelling and myself. So we'll let the sky just be what she is, and we'll try to be at peace with all of the ways that people are people around us. Oh, we're quite half-cocked here. Whoa! Quite half-cocked and falling. And here we are. We've made it, somehow, to this little circular orb that I've been building since early this afternoon, and just haven't been able to settle into. But here's a quiet moment. How rare. I have some show and tell for you. This is Osterhasen. I couldn't possibly read it because it's in German. A lot of symbology that we have based around our modern day hallmarky Easter comes from Germany, but it's really cute and fun, and you can make up the story in your own mind and figure out what's going on. Grandpa Bunny, he's teaching all these other bunnies how to paint the eggs, and they get so good at it that it's just prolific, and he can kind of kick back and retire and smoke the pipe on the porch, and the traditions continue. And the bunny children, die blieben alle heil, und jetzt kommt der schönste Teil von aller Arbeit, aller Plage des Morgens froh am Ostertag. Wir stecken unser lieben Hasen in Busch und Stroh und auch im Rassen, die ihr für das Osterfest. Vergessen wird kein Insges Nest. And that's the end. Obviously, you totally saw that coming, right? You all knew that. It was spoiler alert on the internet, I'm sure. But that's beautiful. And my mind pretty much short-circuited today. The deeper you dive into something, the more arguments you find about it. And I was just trying to read about, I'll show you this very delicate. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm surrounded by my little shrine of Easter here, and it's hard to move around in. Gotta tell it like it is. But we'll show you this dainty and delicate thing. It has such lovely froofs, and in the back even such froofishness. The ruches and froofsh. And look at this waistline. And look at this delicate stuff. The delicate stuff. Even this. Ruchy floofed. But, I was gonna start it like this. I'm doing all kinds of symbols, and you know what? I'm lucky enough that I can choose to look like whatever I want to look like. A savior, a symbol, a worship piece, a slut, a powerhouse, a leader, a seeker. I want to be all of it, and so I am. You don't have to just be holy or a fairy, or holy or a nymph. You can be both. And I'm telling you, I've done so much searching today. So much searching. I talked to Momo, which was very important, and she actually inspired much of this poem. A lot of her quotes are in here, and I told her about my whole theory of needing to pluck people's words from their very mouths, lest they evaporate into the clouds and become lost. We must make something of them. They're important. They need to be captured. So it was important for me to talk to her, but the research that I did, you guys, there's so many scholars and theologians and people arguing and people from every country. And you know, there are so many virgin birth stories. I'm not making this up. There's tons of them. Lots. And we get so narrow, we get so stuck in what we see and know that that is the undisputed truth. But it's actually just the tiny little photo booth that we're in. It's a tiny little photo booth. And it's taking pictures of us. So many analogies. I don't know. It's just like there's this huge debate about did the symbolism of the rabbits and the eggs come from paganism and the heathens, or was it introduced in the 19th century by Ladies' Home Journal, or, and it's like, it's all and. I read about like 80 different goddesses, so many different like origin stories of humanity and resurrection, and the father begat this guy who then became the leader, and what happened to the mother, nobody knows. And I can't even put it all into words. You'll hear that in the title. I'll try to get to it. A little more show and tell. I was going to try to bring the big statue Virgin Mary we have, but it was incredibly heavy. My grandmother lifted that thing into our yard and put it there spookily without telling us, as though it came from the clouds. But I couldn't possibly lift it even if I tried. So I left it there and brought her. I think she's very beautiful. And I just think she's left out of the conversation too much, guys. That's what I think. I think, gosh, well, if she's the one who pushed that guy out of her womb, maybe she should get a day. Do you think? Maybe could she have a day? I don't know. It's very weird to me. I have all these beautiful, I believe, Austrian decorations, maybe Swedish? I'm sorry, I can't remember the origin of these little eggs, but I have all these painted, colorful paper mache eggs, and you'll see my mannequin transformation video. It's briefly featured in that. This tin, the rabbits, the hares. I mean, you'll hear my opinion about the obvious origin of where the bunnies came from. It seems quite clear to me, but there's much debate. But basically I was joking with Momo today that really Hallmark should have its own church, because essentially at this point we all worship Hallmark. That's That's what we worship. We gather with our families and put these things on the tables and put these doilies with these things out, and we call them what they are, but that's not what they are. And it's known pretty wide and far. I was so ambitious, I was going to put a screen out here, like a changing screen, and change into like 3 different outfits of femininity. Like the 70s floral dress femininity, and this is like the goddess nymph femininity, and then I was gonna do the like 1950s housewife has hot cross buns ready on the table. So this was gonna be for that, but I just brought it because I actually do enjoy dressing like that and even owning that persona from time to time. But like I said, that's because it's my choice. Ooh, these all flew out of here. This is a load of fun. Trying to show you all the show and tell, trying to get to the poem, trying to be in the zone. Here's this beautiful rabbit cup full of bounty and flowers from last spring and wishes, some of which I'll dispense now, thusly releasing them because golly, do we need them right now? Who do we ever need the wishes? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But I made this little worship tray and I enjoyed it. Chocolate, the worship of chocolate, or more specifically the ceremonial nature of chocolate, very hedonistic. So you're giving it to your children and you're telling them that it's for one thing, but you know, it's for raucousness. Anyway, it's just like if you call it what it is, fine, go ahead and use it. But if you say that it's something completely different and use it and then judge the thing that it's actually all about, that's weird. That's hypocrisy. And Jesus actually talks a lot about not being a hypocrite, so I don't know, yo. You can't just take the... You can't take the sensuality out of the chocolate. You cannot. You cannot. You cannot. You cannot remove it from the chocolate. This I thought was very beautiful because I brought a flashlight out here too, guys, just in case, because we are about to go into the dark zone. I've been trying to get a quiet moment since about noon, so we're going to go into the dark zone, but it's okay. I wanted to do this in my video the other day. That was like the reverence on the hill with the budding flowers and such. But I forgot it. I forgot it outside, and it stayed good the whole time because it's a quality fruit. I was reading something today Jesus said about like a corrupt fruit cannot grow from a good seed or a good tree. I don't know. I was really trying to vibe with him today. I promise you that I was. And I was doing some heavy, deep reading. As I said, I read the Bible front to back, shockingly. When I played a character I cared very much about who was a Seventh-day Adventist. That play, my character was triggered by a dear friend who committed suicide on this day, April 4th. And I've decided to do his poem at a later time, I think on his birthday, hopefully. I couldn't dive into it today. But during that time, I dove very deeply into the Seventh-day Adventist brain and tried very deeply to understand it. But today, specifically, I was really trying to vibe with Jesus, and I kept reading things that he said that I was like, okay, I feel you, but you're kind of making it a really, really tiny passageway to squeeze through. And how many people can actually fit through that teeny tiny passageway? Not many that I know. It's hard. I respect the guy so much. But there is just so much femininity cut. I mean, not left out, cut viciously. An incision has been made into the whole tapestry of existence, leaving women out of the conversation when life comes from the opening of our bodies. How can we be left out of the conversation? or just glossed over. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling with a lot of things right now, but it's okay. I'm showing you this bunny mask. I'm sticking to the task at hand, sort of. But yeah, see, okay, multiple things at once. I was trying to vibe, okay? I promise you I was trying to vibe. And I just came across stuff like this, where it's Fort Collins. It's the whitest party you've ever seen. It's so white. It's such a white party. And I don't know how to reconcile that, guys. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like I said the other day, I want all the gods to like me. I really do. I want all the people and all the gods to like me. But then I came across this, as well as many other calendars. I'm trying so hard, you guys, to be like in this as the darkness comes. And it's okay. I wanted to be like the Easter colors, the bright blue, but I couldn't because I was being completely drowned out by machines. But it's kind of like, okay, how do I light this? I guess from behind. It's like, there's the party. There's like what went down, you know? I don't know. It's a game of telephone told over centuries that we believe. And this said, the icon is distinguished by triumphal and festive quality. I liked that. Raising of Lazarus, come to the feast. Jesus was coming to Jerusalem. They welcome the Lord riding a donkey as the conqueror of death. Anyway, yeah, there's just so much I want to give you guys. And I'm not going to be able to, am I? Because it's getting so dark. Maybe I'll just go to the porch for the rest of the poem and turn on the light. Because I'm just fighting it. Whoa. Sorry. Now I have to put a disclaimer about strobe lights. I'm just fighting against it because it's been so challenging just to try to get out here. Like a parade of crotch rockets earlier. I don't know. Wanted to show you this. I talked about National Handmade Day the other day. I'm going to go into whatever the days are today. I promise I will tell you. You will get to know them. Can you even see this? See, we're going to have to get to some better light. Okay. We're fighting it, guys. It's fighting us. We're fighting it. It's all right. I'm going to persevere. So many other holy and lovely and reverent and soft and meaningful things that I really wanted to show you. But we can't fight it. You can see this because it's a bright and wondrous thing. So that's cool that you can see that. We'll have to bring this because it's in the next bit. Have to leave this. Bring these. Yeah, it's too funny. It's too funny that I've just really tried so. I've just tried so. Alright, I don't even know how I'm going to pull this off, but I'm going to try. Because we've lost the light, and I really wanted the light, but it's alright, because we showed you a few of the things that we wanted to show you in the light. But now we have the coming of the night, and so we must pull off some acrobatics. I want you to know, here we are, in the moment. No editing, one take. We're shaking around violently. We're barefoot over rocks and sticks and many challenges. There are no shoes on these feet. We are bouncing up and down. There are obstacles aplenty. There may even be a dog poo or two. We're coming towards the light, trying to make it in one trip with many show and tells and hand, because there's no way that you could see me out there. So difficult. So extremely difficult. Okay. Yeah. It really is. It really was. It really is still. We're okay. We're okay. We're just pretty tired and pretty worn out from trying to make a beautiful thing less difficult. Would you turn on this light? I couldn't get any light where I was. There we are. Light. How about it? How about it? We've begun in one section. We've begun in one realm. I was trying to demonstrate in my little circular orb that I was in just the spherical nature of things, how everything is a circle, and it's not just some linear thing that you can easily draw a straight line to. Okay, gosh, now I'm like downright hot. Okay. So now we're just in a lounge chair. Coming at you from a lounge chair in a flowy, goddessy thing. Trying to hide all the, human bric-a-brac behind me. This is the only quiet part of the day I've gotten. And there was just so much activity earlier that it was like a literal jackhammer to my thoughtful, would-be meditative state. And I was trying to write this very deep poem, sight unseen. I've used a lot of Momo quotes. I gotta give her, I'm gonna say 62% credit on this one, because a lot of these words I needed to use. And she was saying how she hasn't been poetic in ages, and she hasn't been, she was just being mean to herself, saying she hasn't been poetic in so long, and etc., etc. I'm not liking how it's all just gardening equipment behind me when there we are. We have these fairy, we don't have to show the potting soil and we can actually show some there we are. Some reverence. So I'm going in a million directions. My poem is about a million things. This was from yesterday, National Handmade Day. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yes, last night got real weird and dark. I didn't know the end of that story before I read it. Whoops. I didn't know. I didn't remember what my own writing was in high school. But my mother made this for me. And it's what I would be as a goddess, just full of featheriness and brightness, which I was not very bright or light today because I was very frustrated by the circumstances of, not being able to bring you my vision of the powdery blue, robin's egg blue groove. But that's okay. We have this color blue, and I need to loosen up because the poetry is not supposed to torment me. And I've been letting it do that a few times. But among other things, today is National Hug a New Person Day. Not very great in times of COVID. Not real ideal. Not real practical. School Librarian Day. National School Librarian Day. Hey, just did my poem about Beverly Cleary. Rest in peace. She was a librarian. Is National Vitamin C Day. And it's funny because I was going to do this with my beautiful Satsuma. Look at the sacredness of this fruit. And that's what I miss about my homies, the pagans, and their influence, is that they had a god for everything. Every fruit meant something. Every seed meant something. You prayed over everything. And I'm going to have to ask my boyfriend for that quote. I need that quote. I'll ask him in a minute. Found something on the internet today that really summarized my feelings quite well. just hard. It's hard to care what people think because it's not like I can just have my own opinions and be like, well, whatever. That's the right answer. I don't know. I just don't know how everybody else can go around and not admitting that they don't know and just saying that they do know. Oh no, I know. I know. It's like, we don't know. And I get really upset because I just want their approval. I want everyone's approval. Look, I got it in one fell swoop. Look how gorgeous that is. That is an offering if I've ever seen one. So, National Vitamin C Day. Have at it. This seems like a really... I've earned this. I've earned this Satsuma gizmo. I've earned this. I love you, buddy. Quality. If you can get your hands on some Satsumas, let me tell ya, it is a superior citrus experience. Truly. National Geologists Day. Love geologists. Even fell for one once, and then he was really mean to me about believing in magic. I was like, dude, you study these things that open up from the earth like this, and you ain't got one nice thing to say about magic? That's troubling. I find that deeply troubling. Sorry. Like, are you okay? Anyway. I love earth materials. Look at that. Completely holy unto itself, just possessing all of this potency. Wow. National Geologist Day. National Education and Sharing Day. See, that's the thing. I'm not trying to be right or wrong or get in some throwdown, like outwit, like pissing contests of intellectualizing. I'm not trying to, like, wax shinier or philosophical than the next person waxing philosophical. I just think we should be sharing and educating with each other and realizing that this world is infinitely bigger than, like, the little cute commercial we try to make it. It's not that. It isn't that easy to wrap the whole thing up. It's very big. It's very, very, very big. Whew. So I was digging through all these old calendars, and the shop that my mother had was very feminine energy oriented. Probably I would say 200 or more women worked there throughout the years and became my sisters and my mentors and my leaders, and some of them got me into trouble and some of them opened my mind, and it was really divine passageway into womanhood. But I found all these calendars that I saved, not knowing why I saved them, but I went to April on every calendar, and I just thought I'd share some of them with you. So this is one, because there's so much to appreciate out there, you guys. There isn't just one story. There's so many stories. This is Danu, and it says, 3 ages of women, easy to say. Spring's maiden, strong as a bud, the mother of summer and fruit, the great queen who harvests us all. 3 waters she haunts, easy to say, wild white mountain streams, somber swan-studded lakes, and the dark rocking ocean. 3 ways she makes magic, easy to say, when the bard sings a song, when the earth brings forth food, when a woman gives birth. Cool. So, yes, there we have Danu. Now you know a little bit about Danu. And it's just knowledge. It doesn't have to be scary, guys. Here's a picture from April in this one. She's quite lovely, matching the blue of the sky right now. Goddess of delight. Too often in the workaday world, we get bogged down in routine and forget to find the joy in living. The goddess in her infinite variety knows us well, and so she made springtime, when delights come so thick and fast, even the most stodgy of spirits can't help noticing. The earth shows her bliss everywhere. She doesn't want to hide it. In frolicking baby animals, noisy bird squabbles, the first tentative butterflies over the most exquisite spring flowers. The air itself is ambrosial, wafting lilac-scented warmth over winter-chilled skin. This is only the beginning. As the wheel turns toward delight, the goddess offers her love to us like nectar, encouraging us to drink deeply, give thanks to the Lady of Life, renewing Flora, Shakti, Xoxquetzal. I always say that one wrong. Xoxquetzal. Quetzal, I know is the second part, but I can't say the first part. Xoxquetzal, Konohana, changing woman. Cool, wonderful. I just was thinking of Mary in terms of kind of being a goddess and being like left off the list of the like VIP invite table. Like, could she get an invite maybe? Could she maybe get on the list because she like birthed the dude that we appreciate so well in his many holidays? I don't know. I just get confused about it. I think having those to celebrate him is wonderful. But what about her? I don't know. So there's Gaia. She's a well-known one. Prayer to Gaia. Blessed Earth Mother, of all your creatures are my relations, and together we will keep you alive. I'm not going to read the whole thing because we're probably getting long already. Yeah, we're rocking out here. Here's Elsa. She's the keeper of the cup. Looks like she's very magical indeed. To walk upon this earth, you must accept that you will be faced with challenges designed to assist in uncovering your truths. Many of you fear this, for it may feel like standing at the edge of a crumbling cliff, realizing all the things you have surrounded yourself with must be let go. It is in this courageous act of surrender that you will discover the existence of a magical goblet which silently resides within you. It holds a powerful elixir comprised of faith, hope, and love. Drinking from the cup will result in knowing your truth without fear. Call upon me when you need to meet your greatest challenges. Secretly, I will place the cup where you will find it. You were created by the hands that already view you as perfection. The challenges of this life are designed for you to discover this as well. XOXO Elsa. This is insane because I hadn't read this before, and this ties in so much to what Momo had to say today. Anywho, that will come momentarily. Here we have Sophia. These are all in April. Sophia, Spirit of Wisdom. O Spirit of Wisdom, all that is sacred, I sense your presence. Star fire glowing, illuminating the innermost chambers of my heart. I'm speaking in intimate terms. My beloved, every cell in my body yearning. We unite, meeting on various planes of consciousness, and part once again. The veil is lifted, never torn. You have taught me without disorder, order cannot exist. Knowledge carved in stone is ignorance carved in stone. I seek a marriage with you, my divine one. Let us join flames and burn as one fire. Ecstasy has brought you close, inside my skin, closer than my jugular vein. Your wisdom imparted nourishes my heart. Blow the dust from my soul. Beloved, gently, as if stroking with swan's white feathers, I surrender, sweet one. Wow, this is crazy as well. Didn't read this either. And Momo put in my poem talk today about blowing dust off your mind and soul. What? This is crazy. This is taking me to some places, guys. Okay, getting right through it. These are all the left out ladies. I don't know. Put a do not disturb sign over the forest. Hang an out of order sign on the White House door. Proceed with caution. Yield to your conscience. Handle the whole world with care. A woman named Colleen Redman wrote that in 2004. Boy, Colleen Redman. If you could only see what was coming in 2020. Whee! Talk about out of order sign. Here's this lovely one. This is Oxchel. Always have a hard time with this one too. Oxchel, soul of the moon and emotion, holding open the portal of transcendence. My heart and soul are yours in devotion, waking my being to remembrance. And I know some of these, I don't know all of them, but guys, there's so much we don't know and don't ever even scratch a little finger scratch off of. It's madness. These are all interpretations of Mary Magdalene. I was searching again, deja vu. I always talk about this like frantic, mad searching through my house for one particular thing I'm trying to find and I cannot find it. And today was such a day where this beautiful portrayal of her I had written with a quill pen and red, like old quill ink. I had written a beautiful poem on this picture. Can't find it anywhere. I've probably put my hands on it 1,000 times in this house. Cannot find it. But here's the one in April for this one, and it says, haven't read this before. The wise woman tradition, with its knowledge of seasonal lore, medicinal plants, and earthly magics, welcomes Mary Magdalene into its mystic sisterhood. The anointing oil she used undoubtedly contained unguents, perfumes, and herbs with symbolic and healing purposes. We touch with the gentle hands of Magdalene when we use such herbal potions today. Okay, my baby wants to go inside. Give me 2 shakes. 2 shakes, 2 shakes. Back to the earthquake of thoughts. Isma wants to come in. Can you do me a giant favor? Can you write down that text that you sent me this morning?
Yeah.
Can you write down what it said and bring it to me?
Yeah.
Love you. Okay. We all need a little help from our friends. I need help from wherever I can get it. I'll take help and prayers of any denomination. Help however I can get it. Prayers of any denomination. Please help me and pray for me in any way. Unless it's like scary and bad. I don't like the scary, not kind ones. Just be kind. That's what Momo was saying today too. Like, believe whatever you want. I'm not gonna like join your club if you're like a flat earther, but just be kind. Like, is it seriously that complicated? And I feel like it is, judging by the aggressive crotch rockets that rev their superiority all day, every day. I think, yeah, that the kindness is sort of hard to find. So, hey, a little more vitamin C, and we're going to read the poem. It's day 94, and my intentions and my heart were very pure. Turned into a stressful one. The whole day went away. I had a million plans. I wanted to dye Easter eggs and feel like a kid, and instead it was just kind of battling time and man and machinery. And it's all right. It's night now, and the crawly things have begun to crawl around me again as they did evening last. Don't you just love this geology, this geode of complete sparkle, entrancing, mind-enhancing, dancing light? I love that. I really love it. Okay. So, with lots and lots and lots of ado, I will bring you my poem. And it's kind of long, but it's okay. I forgive me. Day 94, what have we got in store? Big shout out to Momo. I was really in a stuck spot. I was completely stuck and flailing around like how you're, not supposed to flail around in tar or quicksand. I was just doing that anyway, further getting stuck and sucked into it. And she helped me. And she was being down on herself too, being like, I'm not even creative anymore. I'm not even a poet anymore. And I told her, I was like, I can't even keep up with you when I'm on the phone with you. My thumbs are going a million miles an hour in my little notes app trying to capture all of the profound wellspring that you are presenting to me. So stop talking badly about yourself because you're freaking genius. Every conversation with her was like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to be thinking about that forever. I guess that's going to be cycling through my dreams and wondering on a forever basis.
I wrote it, but it's so light. Here's that phone.
Oh, you don't need it? Here, just give it to me. I'll be able to read it.
It's like pretty light.
I can read it. Love you. Okay. So, just got a little quote we're going to probably end with because my boo thing texted me this as I was opening my eyes this morning. He wakes up earlier than me, so he's up and I woke up to this quote and it just nailed it on the head. Oh, babe, can you tell me who the person was that did it so I can give them credit? What's
just some person on Twitter?
They don't have an identity.
Cam.
Spelled
CAM.
at. Do you do at for Twitter?
At Cam White Astro. It's like the biggest tweet out there today.
Oh.
People have probably seen it.
At Cam White Astro.
Yeah.
At Cam White Astro. Biggest tweet today. Apparently other people feel what I feel. I don't ever meet any of them, but hey, at Cam White Astro. I will read it at the end. I'm gonna do the poem first, but I just wanted to, I don't ever like quoting things or saying things without giving credit where credit's due. Making a well-to-do about whoever pulled it from their point of view. Okay, everything's poetry. And speaking of everything, today's poem is called It's About Everything. And that's hard to write in a day. That was the nurturing, kind thing that Momo said to me as I was losing my mind, telling her, okay, I just want to write this poem and I want it to be like reverent towards Jesus, but also like I'm kind of upset that he just got all the credit, and it's about goddesses, and it's about every belief, and it's about everyone doing better, and it's also about origin stories and the holiness of every moment that we look past, and kind of trying to scold people but also trying to hug them, and just kept going on about like I'm trying to find this through line and I don't know what it is, and I think the ladies need some more credit and I don't know where I'm going, and edit, and yeah, she said, Teal, it's okay. I could just hear her voice in my head. Teal, it's okay. It's about everything. And that's hard to write in a day. It all got tangled and misinterpreted even then. So many stories, so many pens going all at once on the hunt for a purpose behind all this. And I wish I could think as I once did. I don't think that I think of things the way I used to think of them. I used to sit and wait for the thought to come, so much anticipation, and I could feel it and be like, oh, whoa, there it is, and it would wash over me and I'd have reverence for the thought. Now it's just getting through the day and falling asleep again, barely remembering that excitement of reaching for my pen. But I have been having more resonant experiences where I can feel myself like shaking from my soul. I used to tell you about it, how I felt the dust shaking off my brain and myself, and I could feel the bodily sensation of it, like, it's so fun. Why did that have to run from me, leaving me searching desperately for the slightest holy sliver? There's nothing that feels welcoming enough for women so wild as us. I remember we had befriended some punk kid in the valley. We had no community. We were lost in a city trying to eat us alive. You were in my fake fur Penny Lane coat with my big glasses. And I remember thinking, I need fellowship. I need others who can help me figure out the esoteric, cult and mystery leanings and subtleties of all things. I needed a core of at least 7 people. We know that a fellowship like that exists, but we don't call it what it is. If it's in church, we're all there in our nicest clothes, pretending we haven't hid a million things under the dirt of ourselves. If we gather, if I were to have a block party right now, celebratorily, there would be these unspoken principles and rites and waves and undertones and rituals surrounding what we are and what we're doing, but we just don't allow it to be sacred. We fart and scratch ourselves about it like it isn't meaningful, that we're all standing there at the same moment together. We don't examine things and say, this was vital and meaningful, and it's important. Let's talk about why. Now we all have to be so distinct. We've got to stand out in some clickable, likable, followable way. I guess that's what we think. So there isn't really a camaraderie or community in it at all. And our gods are all brawling in a big sweaty god wrestling match trying to catch that title, that big gold placard. I tell her how hard it is for me, sitting with my thumb on my gadget, or with a writing device in my hands, trying to capture all these beautiful things my friends say, all these different ways to pray and appreciate how we got here, or make it clear somehow. She tells me, Teal, you are the muse. I say this in all seriousness. You are the muse in the most Grecian way. You are the memory house and the memory keeper. I explain to her that I am a seeker of tangible worship. I reflect on a shoebox I still have from my terrible car accident. It contains all the sacred little good luck charms that flew around in my car that day when I was hit from 40 miles an hour from behind by a guy not paying attention. It also contains just a bunch of garbage that I found on the floor, all thrown into the same shoebox, that I haven't been able to face because it erases the ways in which those holy items were meaningful and takes it all back to a bang of pain and life alteration. So I hide it. All these stations we have to visit on this arduous journey. She speaks on those she admires, an actor whom she says has 17 whole dimensions to her face, unlike so many with 4 placeable angles easily categorized. She goes back to the reflection of the way I give thanks for things, saying, everything is a shrine you can touch, until I know you clutch to it so desperately at times. We talk about storytelling. We got to put this stuff's she says, we've got to put this stuff in our souls somewhere so we can keep on living. We speak also on the dishonesty of people and their vices and deep down hidden basement selves. How we never talk about it and how we need to. You can work out all sorts of ways to be you can work out all sorts of be and work it into your regularly scheduled kink life, she says. You can admit your intrigue with the edge of a knife, but unless you talk about it, you're going to fester it and want to do something with it. We just don't allow each other's darkness at all. We only judge it. Later, she self-reflects about trying to explore what it means to actually live into the things that we say. She says that like lean into, but live into. She's always replacing words like that, and it makes things once agitating a great deal. She makes things that were once agitating make a great deal more sense when contemplating them. It's a conversation about everything, so it includes entertainment and the human psychology we pretend to understand so well. She says, when we are faced with these crazy fuck, marry, kill situations, which people actually get into and face pretty regularly, we only judge them based on what we think we would do. But we really haven't got a clue. We spend so much time on what we're afraid of, and while hope has so much more of a weight and a spotlight on it, more of a vibe than fear does, fear's vibes are more impactful. It will pull shit down from the corners of the universe, if you let it. It seems the more we dwell on it, the more it searches us out. We wind the conversation around to the relegation of the sacred versus the taboo. There would be such great value in us talking about those thoughts, she says, because if you let them keep recycling all their stuck fragments through your mind, they become more urgent, like, okay, maybe I need to do this. Instead of just processing, we feel lost and wrong and everything festers. When you realize you've been judging someone else, it's so painful because you know there are things you're judging in them that are actually just reflections of yourself. We need to move past things in a community or they will manifest in some hugely off-kilter way. I feel I am constantly being listened to and graded. I am trying to express things in an appropriate way. I just want to say it, though, loudly. Teal, you told me that you can feel what's going on without me saying it, and I still can't say it. So I figure, okay, we'll pussyfoot. I just know that I am not saying more. I just know that I am not saying more than I am saying. I am not saying more than I am saying.
You can't blame people for being so human, though. If I don't actually explicitly tell people what's going on with me or spell it out for them, I can't expect much of them at all. How do I communicate that need or just ask someone to meet me there? Like, hey, can you just try, please? I'm so delicate now. When in my 20s, I was just like, sure, let's go. I can take it, whatever it is. Just hop in the car. We talk about all the crazy things that have happened to us and how people often doubt it. She laughs. Yes, Teal, she says, you should explain to them, hey, I'm trying to write fiction here, people. All these real things that get in the way. You think I have time to make this stuff up? Or we're reflecting on the time when we met the Antichrist. This really happened, I promised. I always try to guess exactly who I'm going to be sat next to on airplanes, and this one time it was a very intense experience. I'm often right. That wasn't the crazy part. I guessed both people correctly. A very strong buck of a soldier who looked like he'd grown up on a farm and carried his weight in hay bales every single day. He was to my left in the window seat. He told me things about Iraq and the war that I will not even repeat here. All I can say is that by the end of the flight, I was sobbing on his chest, unabashedly, wetting his shirt with my face. And I have no way of tracing it, but he told me he was going back for another tour after the army was refusing to pay for his back being broken by a bomb that had detonated. He still had to return, and I believe that he died. I have to pause. This is insane. I wish I could get through this, you guys. It's always harder than I think it's going to be. I need a phone charger. We're going to be all right. Need my phone charger. It's getting cold, I can't behold all of the things that have gone wrong with this poem, but it's okay, I'm gonna finish it anyway. Hopefully my phone doesn't die. I don't know. It's just... A phone that is any more than a year old just simply cannot hold a charge. It really is amazing to me, though, these people that edit their videos perfectly to look like nothing ever goes wrong, because I don't have memory on my computer strong enough for that, A, and it would take me a lifetime, B, to edit out all these parts that are me being human and flawed. I just don't have time to edit all that out. There you go. Everybody needs a cord to keep the energy flowing. Don't we all? It's in. Let me close that. It's in. That's what Mary didn't say. Sorry, I had to make that joke. Had to. Presented itself. Okay. Bouncing from irreverence to reverence. It's fine. It's a party. It's completely dark now. So we'll jump back in. So yes, I play a game where I always predict who I'm going to sit next to on planes. This one was really intense. This soldier told me all these conspiracies and extreme controversies about being in the war and told me he had to go back. And I tried to call his number and it was someone else, and I think he passed away. So on my other side was Chase, spelled Chaise, a music producer with lots of money. We exchanged numbers. I wanted to hang out and hear his hip-hop. Momo and I went to his palatial mansion. He told us that he never went past the 3rd grade, taught himself everything that he knew, and that when he was a child, he knew all of human history, and it scared his teachers to tears. I can't go into all the details. It's too insane, really, to put in poetry format, but he told us there was a missing number in our numerology system. His first name was spelled with 6 letters. His middle name was Damien, spelled with 6 letters. His last name I cannot remember, but it was 6 letters long. He was born on 6/6, and he told us calmly and quite seriously that he knew he was the Antichrist. His aunt figured it out, explaining this didn't mean he was a bad person. It was simply his job. to separate the believers and non believers. We just sat with our jaws open in this giant $1 million theater. He told us everything he had obtained in life came quite easily to him, and he never even went to junior high. It's a long saga, but the night went by, and when we drove home, we both lost about 3 hours of time that neither of us remember, and we ended up in Malibu somewhere, winding through the hills, completely lost, totally sober, feeling that we'd been in a spell. Hard to retell it properly. All I can say is he made a very convincing argument of being some sort of not altogether human individual. He spoke of many myths and of the influence of aliens before anyone was really watching shows about all that. It all ties together. How can we deny it and combat each other's mythos so angrily? Momo couldn't recall as much of it as I did, but she said, all I remember is being in that room, in his recording room, I guess, when he revealed his true psyche and was telling us all about his nature and beliefs in aliens and gods working closely together, and his insistence that all of our problems were tethered to one missing number in the numerical system. It's always that dichotomy, isn't it? Momo wondered aloud. The merger of whether it's angels or aliens or both. Something or someone more advanced and capable coming to this earth, which is like a bunch of dirt-flinging simpletons, three-dimensional ape cousins. Everything we create reflects the world we created it in. So therefore, all the robots out there, they're paying attention to what you want, and even more importantly, what you don't want. Those spies who seem to taunt you, they're going to offer you both doors and make the one that hurts you a little more the appealing door somehow. And the more famous we allow more people to be, it's like we've gone so deep into the iconography, now everyone's near God status with their 7 million disciples. Then the next God wannabe has to somehow have more sex, more shocking violence, more compliance, more power with the machine gods. It all goes back to dreams we had 13 years ago, Teal. We just have to deal with that truth. She emphasizes with the poem I'm trying to write. She emphasizes. We just have to deal with that truth. She empathizes, not emphasizes. Words are hard, it's late. She empathizes with the poem I'm trying to write, and I tell her I'm trying to have reverence of Jesus, but also more recognition of Mary, and also compare Mary to a goddess, and talk about all the other goddesses, but make them get along somehow and speak to traditions, but also create the audience to envision a world very much different than this one, and want it, more fun, more allowance of who people really are, and how Jesus was a star, a celebrity, and there were others born of virgins, or so the story goes, and make it flow, and make it pretty, and hide the cynicism, and create a big glowing rainbow prism around it all. So I said, I'm just having a ball trying to attempt that with a terrible headache. She comforted me. It's about everything, and that's hard to write in a day, Teal. Stories are all about telling us who we are, but also about excusing what we are. We hide so much, like Isis and all that she was. Her disturbing procreation story, the desperation of it, was the root of so much. But we clutch our pearls and sweep it under the rug with some made-up lily-white, pale-cloaked virgin. We only let Mary be one thing. Both Marys, actually. When they bare their souls, their stories are rolled up into two basic categories. You're either a virgin or a whore, right? It was the mother who spread the message, so who is the author? If you imagine that she had no agency or respect in her life at all, perhaps she needed to be the most revered mother of a prophet, because there were many such women at that time, and she rose to that level of legacy. She was literally magical. Yet, we only speak to her suffering, her pain, or her purity. The masculinity narrative is so superimposed on the root structure of the whole thing. And we sing all those songs made up by men at church. But what are we saying? What's the true search? The real frustration of the Jesus story was that all he wanted to do was change society. And we said, oh, well, we really respect you, man. We'll celebrate you forever, and talk about you a lot. But we're going to keep the society part, all the murder and the oppression and sexism. But we'll do it in your name, okay? It's actually pretty insane when you think about how little we followed his blueprint and how much credit people still take for really making it work. I have to just rest sometimes, she says, in the belief or faith or hope or whatever you want to call it, that trying might be the best we ever get. We already know we can envision euphoria so clearly, we can see it, but we can't attain it without some horrible flaw every time we try. We're always looking for the perfect diamond with no coal particles left, and we just won't get it without theft or pain or death. But I have to believe that trying means something, that my trying is worth something. But for you, Teal, I think you just have to be the nymph that you are and stop saying sorry, so sorry about it. People are always trying to put nymphs in little jars with holes poked at the top. Don't let people do that to you. And we guess at what everything's about. We trace our place in all this and simplify it. Like a brownie batter you just whisk up in a bowl. And there is no one sole explanation. We worship celebrity and have a fascination with only certain individuals over this whole arc of existence. I tried to follow this persistent use of symbolism, and it isn't as straightforward as the catechism tries to make it seem. It's like a dream you can't explain to anyone but yourself, and even you find that your mind is confused by it. If there's a puzzle to be pieced together about this day, though, I figured, if there's a puzzle to be pieced... more crotch rockets. If there is a puzzle to be pieced together about this day, though, I figured I would try it. So we have Noah, of course. We all know Noah, who begat Nimrod, who became some sort of tyrannical jerk and didn't follow his father Noah's kindness at all. And he built all these walls and all these cities, very famous, and pitied no one, only to die and have his wife condemn him as evil. She then had a, quote, illegitimate son, Tammuz, who was then used as a sort of symbol, and it was foretold that he was Nimrod reborn. And of course, as all vile and powerful men of scorn tend to be, Nimrod was revered somehow, I guess simply because he was mighty? So as the story stuck with Tammuz, those down on their luck began also to worship his mother, Semiramis, in a sort of goddess upgrade. Nimrod's reign faded and she became a more revered symbol of change and fertility. Across this complex earth, she has been named again and again. Her story lends itself to interpretation as her son, who was worshipped as the incarnate of her dead husband, who was not even his actual father, became such a popular point of focus. So, in the telephone game of holiness, she would become various characters of the moment, a woman who got some credit and decided to own it. Be she mother of Tammuz, or be she Ishtar, Ashtur, Oster, or Easter. We can only dare to speculate. It is heavily debated, was Ostara even a goddess? She was only mentioned briefly by a monk who probably thought her vile. Bede, the monk, states as a very passing thought that she is celebrated during Eostermonath, an Anglo-Saxon name for April. Jacob Grimm, better known as the Elder Grimm brother, who edited his, that's really hard. Better known as the Elder Grimm brother who edited his younger brother's Grimm fairy tales. That is a tongue twister. Grimm's fairy tales described in his Teutonic mythology. Ostara, Istre, was goddess of the growing light of spring. I like that, growing light. He described the spring as a time when young maidens barely wearing a wisp would collect the condensation or dewy bubbles of kisses on the foliage carefully and delicately, filling buckets with it, and then bathing in it would prolong their youth. This worship or fascination certainly stuck as pure truth. It is passed along that the equally scantily clad and glad to frolic Osterode would manifest quite suddenly in these dew-kissed spring mornings, wearing a huge ring of keys round her waist, to go gather droplets, to taste the joy and... That is not supposed to be the word guarantee. Gosh dang autocorrect. to taste the joy and greenness of the newness all around with the other beautiful maidens. The bushes laden with new buds, the smells of the first. This was a lot of autocorrect issues. I knew this was going to happen because I was trying to write it quickly. The bushes were laden with new buds that smelled like the first drugs, and she skipped off to lead them. Where are these leaders now? Then a great sea change. In AD 595, Pope Gregory sent a gaggle of monks with his devoted pal Augustine at the helm, who would later be given the first honorary title as Archbishop of Canterbury. This steadfast and determined crew was instructed to feign acceptance for the old pagan practices on the surface, allowing them to believe that they were keeping all the merriment and festivities while slowly advising everyone that such celebrations stemmed from Christianity and insisting by force or otherwise that Christ was the one true Savior and anyone who denied it would face severe consequences. This combination of allowing the ribbons to keep billowing while slowly instilling fear worked quite beautifully, at least as far as the Christians were concerned. They called these tasks papal directives, and gosh, were they ever selective in what they chose to keep around. Essentially, they had money and gold and weapons, and they said, sure, heathens, you can continue these feasts as long as you stop worshipping trees and beasts and spirits in the wind and rescind all your values and stories for our one true glory. And there it was, and is still. All the pagans swallowed the pill they were given and went with it, and thus he is risen, and there's no other questions. We took a whole history of deities for every sacred bush, leaf, and bunny, and narrowed it down to one sunny fairy tale. I find myself even frustrated by the way that eggs and bunnies were derailed from their origin symbols. Clearly, we've taken an ocean of knowledge and shrunk it down to fit inside a tiny thimble. There is much debate among scholars and theologians where all these things come from, but it isn't complicated to me as far as the cutesy Hallmark theft goes. It isn't hard to follow. Eggs and bunnies represent fecundity and the continuation of life, sex. Somehow we've made that reflect Sunday school and cute little bonnets. I read all about how the eggs were dyed red to represent the blood of Christ. Well, isn't that nice? Let's think about this, though. Where do red, bloody eggs grow? If you don't know, then you're not paying attention. And it isn't my intention to say that any of this is wrong or right, but it can't be fit into a Hallmark movie that you can watch in a single night. It isn't one beam of light, it's many. I found a slip of paper in one of my journals that said, chase the sunlight with a steady crawl, curled into a ball, chase the sunlight with a stick. Momo once made a wand of the apple tree in my yard. She wrote secret notes that I find from time to time. Today I happened upon one after talking to her, in my frantic winding and losing and finding. She said, I feel most magical when I am confident and my fear has quieted. I know not whether I will keep this up. Fearsomeness. If there is some grand lesson to be learned, if so, have I learned it yet? Where are my questions coming from? Where do they go? Answers are not ready for me. They are nothing but stepping stones that lead to the next question and the next and the next. She doesn't want to change just yet. She is preparing her wings. I think she was talking about me. She's preparing her wings. It was broken from the apple tree, taken in the dark. I was alone in doing it. She held up the light. She said she wanted to be with me. I believed her. To the yard we went. The branch is a big, long, crooked one. It is believed in and somehow perfect. Her words lead me to more questions in my soul. You must be careful with this one. You must be careful with one this size, she tells me. You could easily become a scepter. That's me telling her this. You must be careful with one this size, I told her. It could easily become a scepter. I wonder if I should try another branch, but there is no tying this one back to the tree from which I have taken it. I give this apple branch to the witching hours. I give it to the spider time, to find a new comfortable home. I give my heart time to heal from the tiny death I began with a broken branch. So that was her note about me. It's very complex. There's a lot of complexity there. Like I made her doubt her wand, which makes me sad reading that, remembering that. I was just trying, see again, just education and sharing. I was just trying to share one of the only things I'm wise about, not make her doubt anything. Just so you know, Mo, I didn't want you to doubt. I still don't want you to doubt. It's a mixture of so many pieces of both of us. Other secret messages I love. Other secret messages. This is one I found. I love to feel the warmth of my blood as it flows from all corners of the body to this hand. I avoid giving myself away. May have even held back. What is the plan of attack when you do not know what you're doing? I feel the human energy is all mind games. We come in all forms. We are the players, and this earth the field. I feel that the game is not one to win or lose, but is played to make friends and set future play dates in far-off lands we haven't begun to understand. Many believe fear inspires respect. This may be the truth, but along with fear comes many unwanted guests. I must find new ways to rest. How one goes on through day and night, crisp, collected cumulus, rapidly and readily shows their dark side as the sun sets. What once was snow-capped summits becomes brown-gray shadows. One must imagine the light that once was. Is that what happened to the sun? Has it already left us in our orbit, and we only imagine her warmth for comfort's sake? A mystical healer woman greeted her and said, I was meant to come in here and meet you. Momo reflected that she saw her in her life and saved her from her outer world. Her words of encouragement carried her home. In a tiny corner, she wrote, I brought Teal a new fluorite. I had misplaced hers. This one has more differing colors, violet and white within watermelon green. She needed it today. I have faith that it will help her find what she's looking for. I pray. I also found a note I'd hidden for myself called Once Upon a Lifetime. There once was a sunburst of rainbows called a girl, and throw in fear and a few swirls, and it was called a woman, sometimes called human. Then the gods, thinking it was fun, splashed some color and blew in her soul a light, so bright even she could not stand too close to it, and through it all a ball of love as big as the sun and moon above her. I am unsure of what to do with such a ball. She stretched her arms out as far as they would go, and still the ball managed to grow and grow, too large for any arms to grasp, so she clasped a lock around it and went on feeling weak and small. But still, and for always, there was still the ball, like a simple child's game. All she had to do was let it roll. No work, no strain, no stretching, no striving, only unlocking and thriving. Like the trees, trust the roots will do the work, even covered in grit and murk. The ball is in her, and the ball is her, and she is the ball, made of light and unbreakable in any toss or any fall. I found secret notes everywhere today, but could not find anything I was looking for. This was another secret note. A true honor, asked to enforce the path of a powerful woman's passion. My life's focus is the reverence of written word, a golden thread linking us all in our voyage to save this place. The scribe stands proudly beside the hopeful apothecary. Let the healing begin. She fills my herb book with dried abundance, eyes fixed on destiny, strong grain grinding hands, a guitar strum unlike any I've heard or witnessed, flower songs stored in old-looking fruit jars, teas, elixirs, I am safe here, lavender rolled joints, a conduit to the old ways, scented wood, mortar, and pestle with the freshest remains of herbal creation clinging to its edges. She believes in the placement of energy, of nature's divine commune, elemental transgression. She will speak to the soil, dig her toes deep to dance with the evolving flora. She quests for remedies, dancing the tarantella, a healer's palm. Her children will know themselves well. How to summarize her potential, infinite, epic. The specific gaze of the Savioress. Why do we always make women less than what they are? Poems turn to songs once they reach the stars. Newfound words and a generation ready to embrace our long-lost truth. This beautiful source. Of course. It's a test along with everything else. Remember. Remember, it's about didn't print the last page. I love it. It's actually just the perfect ending. Remember, it's about I don't know. Else. I'm sure I tried to make it rhyme, but guys, I tried to write this poem all day today. I can't believe how long it is because a lot of it is Momo. But I don't know what it's all about. I know that it's about a lot more than we let it be about. I do know that. That I know for sure. So that took a lot out of me. That was, I'm like this, I don't even know what I'm like. It's been an hour and 16 minutes and it was quite a journey. But it was something. It was effort. It was searching. That homeboy on Twitter. I am about to join Twitter. Trust that. But, I said his name before. Go back to it if you want to find it. But apparently it was a big deal and other people were liking it. So maybe I'm less, maybe I'm less at the weird table than I think I am. Maybe I'm less of an outsider than I think I am. I don't know. I feel very outside everyone and very, very odd most of the time. But his tweet-a-dee-dee-dee, said, Christians say not to practice witchcraft or astrology, but celebrate the resurrection of a dead guy on the Sunday after the first full moon of the equinox, and then they drink wine and bread as his blood and body, and incant over their animal sacrifices before they feast. That's well said, my man, at whatever you were. Cass? Cam? Something. That's well said. I mean, yeah, I can respect that. We've got a lot of true ascended beings up in these heavenly stars. But why does it have to be this celebrity structure when it's like goes so much farther than that? So I hope no one judges me or gets mad at me. I just think that there's a lot more room for whatever I said. Education and sharing. There's just simply a lot more room for education and sharing. And caring. And pretty rocks from geologists. And hopefully we can all hug new people very soon. Because it's National Hug a New Person Day, and that just wasn't happening, I'm afraid. So I don't know what else to say. I'm going to eat a chicken pot pie. What was the word that guy used? That was hilarious. I'm going to eat my chicken pot pie and incant over my animal before the feast. Okay. So it all ties together. It's circular. We started in a circular area. It's spherical. I gotta go pick up all my childhood relics and ceramic, breakable, beautiful, collectible things and crystals out in the total darkness of bugs and unknowns. But it's okay. I'm at home, and home is a place of love. And all I wanted to do was just explain and talk about and give reverence to everything today. And it hurt my brain. And obviously that was a long poem. But thanks if you stuck with it. And I don't know, we'll do something different tomorrow. Yeah, we'll just pull some other part of my brain out, because it's all just a gingerbread trail. Like, I had an idea of what I wanted to do today, but then after I talked to Momo, there was just 75 million other layers of it to excavate. And so I did. And hopefully I can thrive and jive on something in day 95. The hounds are barking. It's time to go in. Happy Easter, Ostara. Passover, other crazy celebratory things. We'll just take this fanciness off and be a person again. Here I am, just a humble human, part alien, trying to figure any part of the complexity out with my seeking human heart. Go incant over your food and eat something yummy. And make sure there's some delicious and luscious and sensual chocolate involved. And thanks to all the ascended beings who tried to give us good advice. Hopefully more people step up to follow it. That would be nice. Good night.